Shabbat Shalom, Kol Halo Yahal Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Hakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elder that came before them. They taught us his truth and Shabbat Shalom. And salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word, in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, I'm the brother Yahshua back with the World War III Daily Update. Welcome. I'm going to start right here in Jeremiah 49 and 20. We're going to deal with what's going on with these Israelis. Okay, the Amalekites is what they are. All right. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom. The Amalekites are the least of the Edomites, the flock of Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Teman was a city in ancient Edom. Surely the least of the flock, who's that? The Amalekites, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Shall draw them out what? Shall draw them out into World War III in the valley of Yahushua. Okay, we'll get that in a minute. We'll end with that. So let's watch this. This is a little under 9 minutes. I don't know if we'll listen to it all, but this is Johnny Storm and Don't Speak News. Turkey is sending 50,000 troops to northern Syria as Russia and Syria reinforce their troops in the area. Okay, this is World War III building. Okay, and then up here, wars and rumors of war as Israel to simulate war with Hezbollah in Cyprus, in Syria, and more. This is crazy. Okay, because we all know Allah 911 that when you simulate a drill, you have a real live fire exercise going on right next to it. You got the real thing. Okay, so let's watch this.
Israel to simulate war with Hezbollah inside of Cyprus. Everyone, Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News. Here we go. It's part of the Chariots of Fire exercise, as there's going to be troops from the IAF, Navy, and elite commando units, and they will simulate war deep inside Lebanon. So here we go. Hundreds of IDF soldiers and reservists from units across various military corps will be heading to Cyprus this week for a joint drill simulating war against Hezbollah deep inside enemy territory. The exercise in Cyprus, called Agapinor 2022, or Beyond the Horizon, is part of the IDF's month-long Chariot of Fire drill, which aims to improve the military capabilities in an intense, multi-front, and prolonged war on all of Israel's borders, which it's probably facing, guys. So that's why they're drilling for it. Now, this drill, beginning on Sunday, will last until June 2nd, so it began today. Forces from the Cypriot National Guard will join the IDF troops, as well as several Israel Air Force platforms, Israeli naval units, including the elite Shayetet 13, as well as forces from the Yellowhome Special Combat Engineering Unit, and then the K-9 units, intelligence forces, and so on. This drill will simulate extensive combat based on multi-branch cooperation from the general staff to tactical levels, and this exercise enables the IDF to improve the readiness of its forces participating in the exercise while strengthening the cooperation and abilities at the tactical level. Now, according to the IDF, it is unique and the first of its kind that presents an opportunity for troops to quickly adapt to unfamiliar territory while dealing with emergency scenarios and to train distant logistic capabilities that the military might face when dealing with emergency and unfamiliar scenarios. The troops are expected to train on various types of terrain, including high altitude, mountainous, as well as in urban and open areas on the island, which will act as a substitute for intense fighting against Hezbollah inside of Lebanon. And so, yes, they are going to train for that because that's probably what's going to happen very soon. Now, will it happen while they're doing this drill? Probably not, but you never know. Depends on what Iran's up to as well. Remember, Russia has allowed Iran to ship Hezbollah and also Hamas longer range anti-ship missiles as well. There's other types of armaments. So just saying, this could kick off at any time. So something to keep our eyes on as Russia reinforces troops amid possible Turkish incursion to northern Syria. So the Russian military sent fighter jets and helicopters to the Koshmili airport in northeastern Syria. The airport is in the region controlled by the US-backed Kurdish group, the Syrian Democratic Forces. Now, this deployment comes as reports emerge that Turkey is preparing for another incursion into that area. Turkish President Erdogan said on the same day, repeated his comments about the possible incursion. He said, I always say we may pounce on them suddenly one night. We have to. We will not make them pay for our martyrs, he questioned. Meanwhile, Saturday saw 6 Russian helicopters surveying the Turkish-Syrian border. The Syrian regime and Russia have both reinforced their positions, and the Arab outlet cited this SDF military source as saying so. U.S. troops in the area have deployed patrols into the area, it said, and they've been listening to locals' concerns over Turkish operations. Remember, the U.S. trains and supports the Kurds in this area, so they're kind of in a catch-22. You know, Turkey's a member of NATO, so they're supposed to be helping them fight terrorism, right? And they consider the Kurds terrorists, and yet the U.S. considers them allies inside of Syria. So it really is a kind of a quandary, I guess you could say. But Turkey is massing up to 50,000 troops, a lot of armored personnel carriers, and missiles and all kinds of stuff along the Syria border. And Syria, for their part, is also massing troops because they don't want to lose any more territory. So this could get ugly real quick too. So something else to keep our eyes on. And then, this has been around for a couple days now, but here it is in case you haven't seen it. The rats are fleeing the sinking ship. The former Ukrainian president was caught at the border trying to flee Ukraine. And apparently he's going to be facing some type of corruption charges of some kind, and so they're not allowing him to leave. But here it is, former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, was at this Rava checkpoint, the Lvov customs, and he was trying to leave Ukraine for Poland in a Range Rover vehicle. And so from Customs Service, it said Poroshenko is trying to escape from Ukraine. And here's a picture of him at the crossing.
Should use his Negro mask.
Prosecutor General's office in Kiev has announced the issuance of an arrest warrant for the former chairman of Ukraine's Constitutional Court, Oleksandr Tupatyski. Sorry, these names are hard to pronounce. On charges of fleeing Ukraine. The former head of Ukraine's highest court, is said to have fled the country into Poland. So, gee, if Ukraine's actually winning the war, then why are all these top people fleeing? Or maybe this is why. Chief Ukrainian government spokesman, the situation at the front is awful for us. We are being taken out by long-range weapons, and we have nothing to counter the enemy. And that's true. Guys, there's all kinds of pictures on my Telegram, and videos too. See if I can find one real quick. But of Ukrainian troops basically having to deploy into war with civilian vehicles, old beat up civilian vehicles, and then farm trucks, grain trucks they're riding in the back of. That's what they're being sent to the front in. I lost track of the that particular posting. I'll put it up later if I find it. Don't forget that we're on Telegram as well, right here. So a lot of stuff I put here on the Telegram account that I can't put on Twitter, YouTube, or anywhere else. So that's where I put a lot of stuff, news we can't speak about as well. And a lot of times news I just don't get a chance to report on. So make sure and check out the Telegram account as well. There it is, guys. All these top dogs are fleeing, including the former president, Poroshenko. So like I said, or like Hal said, if they're winning the war, then why are they all leaving the ship? Because it's sinking and sinking fast. I mean, it's horrible to watch these guys and see all the carnage after the Russians are done shelling an area, because there's a lot of dead Ukrainian soldiers that didn't have to die, and they're just thrown out there as cannon fodder, and they know it. That's why a lot of them are surrendering en masse right now. So it's just terrible loss of life, and for no good reason. And now the rats are fleeing the sinking ship, as you see right here. All right. That's all for right now. There's just a quick report to give you guys a quick war update, including some stuff that isn't being paid attention to. And I don't think Israel and this exercise with Cyprus, preparing for a war with Hezbollah, for one thing, I don't think this one's being paid enough attention to. And the same thing with Russia, Turkey, and Syria. That could turn into something really bad. And the U.S. as well. The Kurds, that whole area is a powder keg. And then, like I said, the rats are fleeing the sinking ship in Ukraine because they're losing and losing rapidly. So All right, I'll keep my eyes on things as always. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com, home bait.
All right. Hey, this guy puts out some good information. We're going to get one precept and go ahead and close it, so as not to make it too long. Let's go to Joel, because that's right there in the Middle East, is it not? All that action. Syria, Iran, Hezbollah, and the IDF. Joel 3, 1 and 2. Salakia. For behold, in those days and in that time shall I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. I, who is the Most High, Yahweh, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shabbat, God's judgment. Jehoshaphat, the Middle East. That's what we see happening right now. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. All right? Look at this in LT. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what we're looking at. The armies of the world are on their way to what? The Middle East. That's where the fight is going. If the rats are running out of Ukraine because they're getting their ass whooped, that front is over. Where are they taking it now? To the Middle East, where, according to Johnny Storm right here, where is it? The least of the flock is drawing them out. Okay? All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified, you brothers and few sisters, and with that, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom.